Hello, welcome back to the Board Book Geek. I'm your host, William James. How are all of you? You know what to do and you know where all the info is. Sony are removing movies by Studiocanal that some users have purchased. This is not a new thing. Apple have done it in the past, Amazon have done it, Microsoft have done it, video games consoles have done it. And through my own personal experience, I'm very much pro physical media. The problem with all digital, and this is my whole thing, is that it's so easy just to disappear. It's not permanent. You can buy something on Apple and they will remove it because of licensing countries and so on. Then you have censorship and other things. Netflix are a streaming company, as we all know, but they accidentally, air quotes, put out a censored version of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which was, air quotes, an accident, but why does this version exist in the first place? They never answered that question. Going into it and looking into what's going to happen, this is why I firmly believe we can never lose physical media. Two people trying to point out on Twitter that it's censorship or movement for political purposes. It can be used that way, and it has been used that way in the past, and many other stuff. I, for example, am a big Nintendo gamer, but Nintendo burnt me. As much as I love the games, Nintendo burnt me. I have a lot of digital games on Wii and Wii U, and they're all playable on the Wii U via back compatibility. That was meant to continue onto the Switch, but it never has. Instead, we have the online thing, which is like gaming Netflix, which is great, don't get me wrong, but I have 150 quid's worth of games locked, retro games, locked onto a system that could break. And the second that system breaks, it becomes very expensive to replace, and I love the Wii U. Despite its failure, it was a great little console. The problem is, for archivists, this is a really dick move, and they should have put something into place to protect it. Same goes for ebooks. As much as I love my Kindle, there are certain pieces of fiction I want as a physical piece of media. Be it that I love it, films that I love, TV shows that I love, books that I love, I always end up with a physical copy in the best quality I can get. I have a large J.R. Tolkien collection. I have the Lord of the Rings extended editions on Blu-ray and DVD. You know, I keep certain things. I bought the Snyder Cut on Blu-ray because it wasn't on no streaming service in Europe at the time. Still isn't, actually. That's the whole thing. This is where it gets ridiculous. You have paid money to have a licensing agreement with a product. You can view it. You never own this product. You own the license to watch it, and it really frustrates me when these licenses, if not the same price or sometimes more expensive than the physical version. So I'd rather go physical. Often it's cheaper to buy the physical book over the ebook. Sorry about that one. Ebooks are also taxed, unlike physical books in the UK. That's different for different countries, but I'm just mentioning it because it's quite an interesting little quirk. This is why I've gone out of my way to build a library of books, of movies, of television shows on physical media, that I've backed up the films as well. Yes, I am very digital for music, but there are a handful of things that I do still own and will always own. Rare box sets, for example, albums that are not available for streaming services. There's a lot of stuff that is only physical, be it CD or vinyl, that will never really touch streaming or YouTube in any way, because YouTube copyright system is broken as hell. We need to look after media, and the fact that all of this is so open to censorship, so open to destruction and removal when you've paid your hard-earned money for it. I do love streaming, I won't lie. I have Netflix, I have Amazon Prime, I have Paramount Plus. The problem is, a lot of stuff gets removed. Netflix is bad for this. They lost Sons of Anarchy recently, and I'm so glad I got to the end of that. But they've literally removed a series that I love years ago that was like this, the Witchblade series. I ended up having to import the DVD because there was no way they were ever getting it back. This is the problem. You truly never own anything digital. You truly never will. It is always Archival of media is really bad, and video games are another prime example of this, to the point now that back compatibility is becoming a thing of the past, more and more. Or they make you pay for it, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, I've got a lot of games going back to the Sega Saturn and Mega CD for the Mega Drive. That's a big archive of stuff, and these discs are getting very old. Early PlayStation games, PlayStation 2 games, some of those are over 20 years old now. That's where we're going, and these things are getting older, so I've made a point of backing up software, backing up games. These consoles are getting old. These media that we're consuming, archival is important. Having your own personal library is extremely important. At this point, this removal of film, censorship of film, removal of media, changing things to fit a modern narrative, it's very slimy. It's a bad practice, and they should be prepared when it comes to licensing deals and stuff like that for these companies. If they haven't made something future-proof, there's a major problem. There are certain concerts by singers that you cannot get on DVD because they're still put behind a list of the copyright management and rights management behind Laserdisc. Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour, for example, is not available officially on DVD or any other media other than Laserdisc, with a company that hasn't... The deal is still there after, 30 odd years? Physical media is important, and building our own library is important, and I know we don't all have the space for it. I know that. There's going to come a point where we might not be able to access the stuff that we love digitally. That's when the problem starts. That's being really real about it. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.